Greetings, YouTube. I'm sure that in your time on the internet, you've encountered the classic philosophical problem known as the trolley problem. For those that haven't, in a nutshell, you are standing at a switch for a railroad. If you throw the switch, the train goes one direction. Don't throw the switch, train goes in another direction. Now, the train is headed towards a boxcar where there are 5 people in it. There's no way to stop the train. The train is going to hit that boxcar. You can throw a switch which will divert the train onto another track, where there is a boxcar with 1 person in it. If you do nothing, 5 people die. If you pull the switch, 1 person dies. If you are a utilitarian, like I am, you pull the switch, 1 person dies. I'm not sure I could survive that. I could very well just stop eating. I think that I would probably want to not be here anymore if I had to make that decision. Even though it is, in my opinion, the best choice, the person in that boxcar had no agency. And because of that, they could not grant consent to die. And taking that agency away from them, in my opinion, is unethical and immoral. That is, unfortunately, where we are politically in the United States. We have the GOP and we have the Democrats. If you do nothing, if you don't vote, if you go third party, the train's going to keep going and it's going to kill 5 people. If you do something, if you vote for Biden and divert the train, it will kill 1 person. You are still going to be responsible for killing someone. Biden is the utilitarian choice. I know people are going to decry my statement. I know people are going to be upset that we are in a situation where those are the only choices we have. I am with you. I don't want to be in this position. But it's where we are. And we can deal with the problem we have right now, or you can do nothing, and the GOP wins. I know that Biden is facilitating genocide in Gaza. I understand that. I know his policies have not helped the people he said he would help. His policies have not moved the country into a progressive direction. But they have moved us in a more progressive direction than if the GOP had won in 2020. The Biden administration has made policy changes that have benefited Americans and will have long-term beneficial aspects to them for years to come. It's slim pickings. I know this. But anyone who has read any news, anyone that lived through the administration of the 45, knows that Biden is better than he is. And that is what it's going to come down to in 2024. It will be Biden and 45. Those will be our choices. Now people are saying you could run a primary and vote Biden out of the running, and I think that that's just going to hand a win to the GOP, because anyone more progressive than Biden is not going to get the bulk of the Democratic votes, because the Democrats of America are a center-right party. They always have been, and the Overton window has just been pushing them further and further to the right over the course of my life. We wouldn't be where we are if Democrats had made sure that Reagan didn't come to power, or Reagan didn't get a second election. We wouldn't be where we are if Bush hadn't been elected, or Bush hadn't gotten a second election, second administration. We wouldn't be where we are if the Democrats had voted and kept 45 out of office, but they didn't. This has been a long, slow nightmare. And every time Democrats fail to do their jobs, because the vast majority of Democrats are very happy with the status quo. They may not be overt racists or bigots. They may not say slurs. They may, in their heart of hearts, really believe that they are allies to minorities, to the gay people, to trans people, to non-Christians. But they're not willing to dismantle the systems in America that are bigoted towards these groups. They aren't willing to be made uncomfortable. They aren't willing to have things in their backyard. They don't want their lives disturbed. And because of that, we are where we are. I've heard a lot of progressives saying flat out that they will not vote for Biden because he is fueling genocide, and I completely understand that sentiment. And if any of them think for a heartbeat that a second administration for 45 will be better, that's crazy talk. Absolute. And if they think that someone other than Biden is going to get enough votes to beat 45, that's also crazy talk. Do I like this situation? No, I don't. I had someone today tell me that AOC is a Zionist. I've listened to things that AOC has said. I disagree with that position. Is she as progressive as I would like her to be? No. Is she one of the most progressive voices in the U.S. federal government? Yes. And do I think she'd make a great president? Yes, I do. I would vote for her in a heartbeat. I would vote for her in a runoff, in a primary. But I'm not going to get that chance. Because I don't know if enough Americans would vote for her. Some would vote for her. All of the people out there that are currently upset might vote for her. But she may not pass the Democratic purity test enough to get enough votes to win the primary, let alone the general election. Democrats have tried to shove their candidates through the eye of a needle for as long as I've been alive. They want angels to dance on the head of a pin. And if they can't, they won't vote for them. They're looking for perfection in politics, which is also crazy cakes. A candidate is a tool. And if you've got a choice between two tools, and one is poorly designed, and the other one is better designed, but still poorly designed, you use the least bad tool. If you have to make tools from scratch technologically, you start with a rock. Eventually, you'll have better tools. But you have to start with the rock. There's no other way to do it. And too many Democrats won't do the work. They won't vote for progressive people because they're happy with the status quo. They don't want to be made uncomfortable. They don't want to have a black person look at them in their eyes and say, "You people." And every black person in America has the right to do that because we have failed them. We have created the systems that have been destroying their lives, literally and figuratively, for centuries. The Democrats, since the 1960s, have done useful things, but not enough and not fast enough. Justice delayed is justice denied, and the Democrats have been guilty of that for my entire life. I was born in 1964, and Democrats have failed people since the Civil Rights Movement. We thought we had won. We thought we had moved things far enough that we were okay, that we were in the clear, without ever having dismantled the systems that allowed white supremacy to flourish in America beneath the surface. I personally thought we had won that war. And then the 2016 election happened. And I saw it wasn't just a fringe. It wasn't just a handful of racist quacks. That there were tens of millions of Americans chafing at the bit to finally be able to throw the mask off and tell the world just how racist they were. And the minorities of America just looked back and said, yeah, that's always been there. Congratulations for finally seeing it. And then once we got Biden in office, we didn't do enough. Biden had the power when he got in office to make really, truly progressive changes. And he didn't. Because Americans enjoy the status quo. So, you can not vote for Biden and help the GOP win. You can go third party and help the GOP win. Or you can accept that Biden is the least dangerous tool you've got at your disposal. He is the one that's going to do the least amount of harm. That will upset white America the least. And if everyone voted Democrat and we got the GOP out of power, then we start pushing the Overton window to the left. And we start pushing and pushing and pushing. Until we get progressives into power and we start dismantling the systems that white people have created, that cis people created, that straight people have created in America. The minority groups, the gay people, the trans people, none of them did this to themselves. We did it. White, straight, cis people. It's our job to undo what we did. And we stand at that switch. And here's your choice. Do you help? Or do you stand by and let even more people die?